Hello everybody, and welcome to Yoshi 1 Kenobi's Gadrak food deck. In this deck, we want to play Gadrak, the Crown Scourge. This is a 5/4 flyer for 3 mana, which is awesome stats. But Gadrak can't attack unless you control 4 or more artifacts, which is a fairly significant cost, but we'll build our deck around that. And at the beginning of your end step, you create a treasure token for each non-token creature that died this turn. So how are we going to generate artifacts? We are going to be playing food! Alright, so what goes well with food? Good old Wicked Wolf. So these are kind of the two all-stars of the deck, where we have Wicked Wolf and Gadrak that leverage all the food that we have in play to blow up creatures, attack our opponent for a bunch. The indestructibility of Wicked Wolf is now much more powerful than it was in the Teferi era, since it can't be bounced at a huge discounted price. So now we need some food enabler. We play Trail of Crumbs, because sacrificing food with a draw engine is very powerful. Then we also play Gilded Goose, food producing Madness Bird, as an auto-include in the deck. And we'll also play Curious Bear, which allows us to create a food token. And it's also 1/3. So with Curious Bear, I was thinking, well, 1 food's good, but 2 food's better. So let's play some Lucky Clovers, which is an artifact itself, which is going to help us attack with Gadrak. So this is turning into an adventure food Gadrak deck. So if we're playing adventures, we're playing Lucky Clover and Edgewall Innkeeper, it's a very good draw engine. We're playing Curious Bear to generate that food, also draws us some cards with the Edgewall Innkeeper. So what else is good? Well, Lovestruck Beast and Bonecrusher Giant are all-stars with Lucky Clover and Edgewall Innkeeper, so they're auto-include on that side. And we'll also play Rimrock Knight to wrap up our adventure package. So the goal of the deck is put lots of food in play, put clovers, use adventure cards to gain advantage, use the food to gain advantage, use Gadrak's ability to generate more mana so we can get more advantage with a Trail of Crumbs so that we can pump our Wicked Wolf, gain more cards, and the deck is just a very powerful engine that keeps on getting more and more value, while having a big flyer that can end the game when the board is stuck. With Wicked Wolf, which helps to stall these boards, remove cards that our opponent's playing. Lovestruck Beast, also a big blocker. So we get to freeze the board on the ground and use Gadrak in the air to win, while taking advantage of both the adventure card draw and duplicator effects, as well as some Trail of Crumbs to keep on digging for more cards. So we almost never run out of action with this deck, where the top mana cost is 4. So it's a very fun deck to play, as you'll see in the games, which are coming right now. We are playing Gadrak food on MTG Arena Standard against G4T5BY or Gatsby. So you have a pair of Gadraks, an Edgewall Innkeeper and a Gilded Goose. So let's keep this. Let's start with the Temple of Abandoned, which gives us another land, which we do not want. So we'll scry that to the bottom of our deck immediately. Our opponent matches our play with its own Temple of Abandoned. We draw a second goose. So we will go for the double goose for double success. And we'll pass a turn back, which leads into the odd turn 3 Gadrak, turn 4 make 2 food and attack with Gadrak. It's one way to play this. Opponent is thinking about bolting a goose. The goose has been bolted, or stomped actually. Let's go with a Gadrak, the Crown Scourge. And we'll attack with the goose. Because we want to impose tempo here. So the attack with the goose is very important to tell our opponent we are the aggro player here. And we will block the Robber of Riches. Particularly we have another Gadrak in case this one dies. Which it does. Gets shocked down. Down from the sky. And now we will go with a second copy of Gadrak. As well as a Bell token. Again, we have to impose to our opponent that we are the aggressor here. We are attacking with our flying 0-2. Won't cast a questing beast, and we will trade Gadrak for it. Because we don't have enough food to attack with it. Also, the engine we do want to protect is the Edgewall Innkeeper. Lovestruck Beast will draw us a card off of the Innkeeper. Then we can play the Temple to hopefully scry an adventure card on top. Ooh, second Innkeeper is quite tempting. Yeah, we'll keep the second Innkeeper. And let's attack. Hitting our opponent for 1 with a total attacker of our 2 creatures. Opponent sacks a Fabled Passage. Opponent casts the Bonecrusher Giant. So I'm kind of glad I didn't want to see a big flyer come in. We draw the Edgewall Innkeeper, which we will cast. This time we're going to hold back the geese, because we will make a food out of it. And also attacking for 0 is actually useless. Ooh, that is scary. Errata, Heart of Keld. As well as a second Robber. We'll make a food. Draw for a turn. That's interesting. I guess we attack. We attack with the goose. We pump the goose. This time is actually worth attacking with the goose. Yeah, maybe I should have waited for the block from the Robber of Riches. It's actually a pretty good trade for us. We already have plenty of food. So I think we'll just hardcast the Curious Pair. As the 1-3. To draw 2 cards. And then we have land and the Heart's Desire. So we have something to chump block, Rada. Scavenging Ooze. There's 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, there's a ton of stuff in the graveyard. Well, let's draw some cards. A 5/5 draw 2 cards for 3 mana. It's a card that I'd want to play almost every day. Then we have a Trail of Crumbs, which is pretty good. We also have Gadrak. I like Gadrak. Let's cast it. Then we will have our big flying threat. Actually, this is the one turn where we can attack through the Scavenging Ooze. Ooze can get up to 5. So this is the one turn where we actually have an attack with Lovestruck Beast. Let's make use of it. Actually, in retrospect, probably should have attacked with a Rimrock Knight as well. Ooh, this is good. That is fantastic. Because we get to boost our Lovestruck Beast and take down both creatures. Our opponent cannot have a trick, as our opponent has no cards in hand. So we get a 2-for-1. And we get a treasure token. Their opponent gets a big ooze, which is perfectly fine. Tree treasure tokens. Those tree creatures have died. So we have a lot of artifacts now, which gives us a lot of mana, which is going to come in quite handy with that Trail of Crumbs. Robber of Riches come in, so our opponent gets to attack with both robbers into walls if our opponent wants to. Alright, you get a Lovestruck beast, which is an upgrade. Let's rock with Gadrak for no real reason, other than it's the main card of our deck, so let's make more use of Gadrak. Opponent will get the Lovestruck beast, make a 1/1, make a 5/5, and it's my turn. Play our land. Let's draw. Let's draw some cards with our Rimrock Knight. Edgewall Innkeeper is doing a lot of work here. Wicked Wolf is quite strong here because we get to take down the only thing that can block our flyer. Let's kill off the Robber of Riches. We also get to cast Trail of Crumbs for an extra food token. And then we will start the Flying Pain, Gadrak, putting you on a clock. We also have the ability to block with Wicked Wolf, sacrifice a food, make it indestructible, and draw a card off of the Trail of Crumbs because we have the treasures. That's only if our opponent decides to attack. Otherwise, well, we'll cast Gilded Goose, making another food token, and now we have the full food engine. There's very little our opponent can do. We'll use one to gain some life, and we'll activate Trail of Crumbs for a second goose. We'll cast the second goose, and we will attack in the air with Gadrak, the Crown Scourge. And there's very little our opponent can do to that, except grow the ooze. Keep growing. And don't draw an Embercleave, which I guess is our opponent's main out at this point. An Embercleave's Scavenging Ooze would hurt a lot. Not gonna lie. If our opponent suddenly decides to attack with everything, then we'll know that an Embercleave is up. If our opponent does not, I guess we'll grow our wolf and draw a card. Ugh. Yeah. You can make it grow a bit bigger. Really want to draw something that will draw more cards with the Edgewall Innkeeper, like that Bonecrusher giant. As tempting as a second copy of Wicked Wolf is, that's a lot of value. We get to kill off the Pelt Collector, and we still have the mana open. So we're still at the end of our opponent's turn right now. Now we draw for our turn. Get more value to our value train. Cast our Bonecrusher giant to draw cards. Gadrak and the food both doing wonderful things this game, as our opponent concedes, seeing the writing on the wall. The wall of the inn, where the innkeeper keeps on saying, "Here's more value, here's more value." And that's how you win with Gadrak food. We are playing Gadrak Food on MTG Arena Standard against Onzidot. Onzidot. We will defeat you using the power of Gadrak, the super dragon. And we have 2 copies of Gadrak. We scry a mountain to the bottom of our library. And we'll pass the turn. Opponent is playing some kind of Esper list. Let's go with Trail of Crumbs. Get a food on the battlefield. Also, our opponent didn't play anything on 2. Probably holding back some kind of kill spell. I would guess an eliminate. Godless Shrine. Thought Erasure. Guess Wicked Wolf is probably the biggest threat. That's why we wanted to play the Trail of Crumbs on turn 2. Because that is the actual biggest threat. And our opponent... There are some cards that our opponent could play to get rid of Trail of Crumbs. Ooh. That's good. I like Goose. It's not mana efficient. Ironically, it's probably our biggest threat. Yeah, let's go with Gadrak, because it's mana efficient. And I'll pass the turn. Yeah, our options were Goose, Lovestruck Beast, or Crack a Food, draw a card. Ah! Should have gone with Goose, Lovestruck Beast. There goes our Gilded Goose. Ooh, opponent takes off the second Gadrak. That's an odd pick. And we draw a 3rd copy of Gadrak. Alright. Well, this time we are going to go with the creatures. Heart's Desire, Lovestruck Beast, and pass the turn back, because we don't have enough artifacts. We can put a second one with Gilded Goose, but getting access to the 3rd and 4th artifact is hard considering our current hand. Kyle's Rat might be an option. Basilica Bellhaunt. Link has discarded Gadrak. And this is the turn where we empty our hand. And we are up to 3 artifacts. Attack with the Lovestruck Beast. Opponent chumps. So our opponent's gonna Kaya's Rat. Now we have the 4 artifacts. Everything we need to attack with Gadrak. But our board will not survive. Or will it? Opponent passes to main phase 2. Teasing us. Alright, well. We get to attack. So let's get that attack in. Opponent casts Mortify on Gadrak. Alright. I kinda want to keep the Rimrock right as a threat. Let's push the damage through. I mean, this is clover damage. It's 4 points of damage off of the Rimrock Knight. So we hit our opponent for for 10. That's 6, 9. I changed my mind. I'll cast the Rimrock Knight simply because it gives us a lethal presence on board. We'll also trade the treasure token for a for a food with the Gilded Goose on our turn. So you have more fodder for Trail of Crumbs, assuming your opponent does not board wipe. Opponent kills the Rimrock Knight with Enter the God Eternal. And we make a food. We draw a land. Alright, well, let's cash out one of those foods. Clover, Lovestruck Beast. Both are very good. Let's take Lovestruck Beast. Let's attack with Lovestruck Beast. Opponent down to 8, and we'll pass the turn. Because food is gold right now. Opponent casts Bolus's Citadel. Goes down to 6. Create a food. Alright, well, we'll play that land. Opponent has to chump block Lovestruck Beast. Otherwise that Bolus Citadel does nothing. So the 1/1 is going to go through. We want to get our opponent's life total as low as possible. So we will hope to get a Bonecrusher Giant. Crack a food. Use Trail of Crumbs. It's not what we want. Actually, let's undo that. That Bolus Citadel worries me, so I'll sacrifice the food for mana, which we'll use for Trail of Crumbs. We get a Curious Bear and a Gadrak. Curious Bear is pretty good right now. Simply because it gives us access to more food, and more food means more cards. So let's cast the footage. Yeah, we get the food. We get a 1/3. And we'll pass the turn. And you can do your Bolus Citadel stuff on 5 life. So enter the God Eternals, you can't cast. Toddy Erasure will get rid of our Lovestruck Beast. I'm okay with that. Because now you can't cast anything costing more than 3 from your deck. And Oath of Kaya will kill you before it hurts us. And that's how we beat Esper. Using Gadrak Food on MTG Arena Standard. We are playing Gadrak Food on MTG Arena Standard against Idjbin Groot. We have a Goose, a couple of adventure cards, a pair of Gadraks. Should be good enough. That's one artifact. That's one dead goose. Alright, clover time. Opponent cast a Steamkin. Steamkin is quite dangerous. I don't like wasting the double stomp, but to get rid of a Steamkin, I think it's worth it. Burn! Or get flattened, I guess, since we're stomping on the Steamkin. Ooh, another Steamkin. Alright, that we can live with. Let's play our Gadrak. An axe hardened by the forge. Which means our opponent doesn't have an attack. And here we get to generate food. Gadrak is now online. We will also put some 1/1s on the battlefield. I don't think Gadrak has any good blocks, so let's attack. Robber of the Rich. Into attack, into Ember Cleave, into we die. Just in case. We'll double block, which will generate treasures from Gadrak. Also dealing damage to Steamkin, so our opponent will lose the Steamkin if they cast anything red. That's kind of a waste against us. Oh no, Gadrak's only during our turn. Oops. Oh well, we needed to stay alive anyways. That's not what we want. Let's cast Lovestruck Beast. Let's get in for 5. So if we block the Steamkin, our opponent gets in for 8. We're down to 6. Ooh. Opponent stomps. Alright, just trying to be mana efficient. Hopefully that's not an Ember Cleave. Opponent has our lucky clover, which isn't going to do very much. Jump there, 5, 6, 7, 8, and dead. They always top deck the Ember Cleave, as that's the way red deck wins. Which is too bad, because we would just make a token and swing for game next turn. But that was a fairly good usage of Gadrak. We are playing against Gadrak. We are playing with Gadrak food on MTG Arena Standard against Quickly. So we expect this game to be long and drawn out against Quickly. As we open up with our bell. Opponent's playing red deck wins. I will accept the trade. I'll cast a clover and pass the turn. As we now have access to double bone crushing. Opponent swings with a robber. We will cast Gadrak, the Crown Scourge. What do you have against turn 3, 5, 4 flying creatures? Nothing. That's what I thought. Let's scry. Yeah, that's good. Let's stomp you. And that's how it's done. Stomped for game. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe by clicking the Yoshi icon at the right of your screen. It doesn't cost you any mana, and it greatly helps to support this channel and keep the awesome videos coming.